He shared my house address. He shared my cell phone numbers. He shared it on Facebook, shared all the addresses, and it went viral again overnight. My phone had to get a new number. It was getting death threats every day, calls every day. My address people were showing up to my house every single day. I guess I have to get right into it. I don't want to, but because I know I'm going to cry.
Turn your headphones. Check 1, 2.
Boosted, gone wild.
It's that
boosted chick. Your husband subscribed.
I did just say that.
Hello, guys. We are back with Boosted Gone Wild, and I have some stuff I want to talk to you today. You might see Boosted cry today, and I don't want to, but when I wrote out all my notes, I cried while writing these. I'm going to go into the whole what does that Boosted chick mean and what did my name come from, my brand, and the whole green car incident. So if you already know, you're about to understand and figure out everything I actually went through. And if you don't know, then now you're about to learn. But first, I wanted to get into something that I just recently had to deal with in Miami. So I did another podcast. It's called Fresh and Fit. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's these misogynist guys who have a podcast who kind of take down OnlyFans girls, kind of put them under. And the podcast I was on had 14 girls at the table, and they literally just bash all the girls. And usually I wouldn't put myself in to that sort of predicament, but it's a pretty like poppin' podcast. So I just wanted to see and go behind the scenes a little bit and see for myself. Like a lot of girls are like, oh, I got attacked on there. And some girls are like, it's not what it is. It's not what it seems. So me and my girls wanted to go and see what it was. So I was on the podcast with Waka Flocka Flame. It was a pretty cool experience. But I just wanted to, call them out a little bit because one of the guys really went for my girl, Patty. And if you know me and Patty are really close friends. Basically, these two ugly dudes, because they're fucking ugly, did this podcast. And they're such hypocrites. So Patty, she does the same line of work as I, but she does it a little bit more scandalous. So they pulled up her Instagram live on the podcast and were calling her out saying like, she's a hoe, she's looking for attention, she's not dateable.
Just feeling a little sick.
No, I could say the same after seeing your Instagram. But that's fine.
Are you gay? She's hot.
It's not about, here's the thing. It's not about being gay. It's about if I'm associated with a certain girl, right, and I'm going to claim her.
She's too masculine, kept saying that I was too masculine, that we have masculine traits because, what was the word? I wrote it down. We are too consistent, we are too smart, and we are too successful, and those are all properties only a man can have. And said they would never date a woman like us because we're just too masculine.
What proof do you have that I am in my masculine energy?
Because anyone that's successful that makes quite a bit of money typically has to be in their masculine energy to do so because the traits that make money are masculine traits.
Or it's just consistency and effort.
Masculine traits.
Yeah.
Those are not masculine traits.
Discipline, consistency, these are masculine traits.
Effort.
To make money, you have to be in your masculine to make a lot of money.
That is some bullshit.
I was like, okay. But it was really weird because afterwards, Mr. Myron slid in Patty's DMs asking her on a date, saying that she needs a real man in her life, and asked her 3 times. She said no. He unsent it and then messaged her again a couple days later. So these dudes are lying. One of the other ones even date another girl. I believe her name is Kendra. She's an OnlyFans model. So they're just lying to you. So you little boys out there, stop looking up to this Fresh and Fit podcast. Stop looking up to all these other podcasts. They're all liars and doing shit for clout. So very interesting podcast. I think I held my own. They couldn't really attack me because they kept saying, like, they were kind of on my side. It was really weird. But it was a good experiment, I guess I would say. But they're all liars. Anyways, I had to throw that out there. This was my recent fucking thing that I had to deal with last week in Miami. So I just wanted to tell you and kind of like try to make me laugh a little bit before I start crying. So I wanted to get into the green car incident and why that boosted chick. So a lot of people, like, I keep getting a lot of new followers. I've gained 150,000 since January. So a lot of people don't understand what that boosted chick means. So Boosted just, it came from the car world. I started my Instagram in 2012. I had a Subaru WRX, so it was boosted, aka it had a turbo. Boost just basically means it's positive pressure that's created by a turbo or turbocharger. So the WRX had a turbo. Yeah, so that's that. But also I wanted to Google boost, like what it means nowadays. And I had no idea what this meant, but boost in the slang terms means to steal. It's a slang term to steal. So, I mean, it makes sense because I'm stealing all your hearts. So I'm that boosted chick. But a lot of people, I wanted to get into This Is a Green Car incident. So you can hashtag This Is a Green Car. You can see it for yourself. There's a lot of memes about me. There's a lot of drama in the car scene that I had to deal with. And I just wanted to get into the full story because I've still never really said my full story to this day. I was kind of like shut up from the whole scene. I never really wanted to talk about it. I went through therapy. But I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to tell you my whole side of the story. I do not lie about anything. I don't have to lie about anything. So everything I'm about to say is my side and my truth. So if it hurts somebody, oh well. So I have a whole thing of notes here, so don't mind me. I'm going to be reading off it because I don't want to miss out on everything. So this is a big deal for me because you'll learn throughout this whole episode, but I basically tried to commit suicide because of all of this. And even to this day, you'll see on all of my photos or TikToks or something, somebody still says this is a green car under any photo, or if I'm wearing green, they're like, oh, you're wearing a green shirt. So that's why I just still go with it because fuck it. But yeah, so I had to make a trailer for Bad Girls Club. So back in the day, this was in 2015, Bad Girls Club was a reality TV show, and this was for season 16 of Instagram famous models, and at the time it was crazy because I only had 60,000 followers. So you can tell how much social media has changed because I was considered Instagram famous with 60,000 followers, and I was picked for this show. You just basically had to put in your Instagram and tell them about yourself, and I was picked. So they told me to make a casting tape. I wasn't allowed to edit it and just have like a full day in the life type of video with no editing because they do the edits on their end. So I said, okay, did a whole day episode, went to my work. I was bartending at the job at the time, did a whole thing on my car, which is where it all fumbled, I guess. Keep in mind, this was in 2015. I was very nervous making the video. I wasn't like the confident boosted I am today. So I was stumbling a lot on my words. I was saying a lot of dumb things. So instead of saying like, this is my 2008 Subaru WRX with this modifications and blah, 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 I literally said, this is a green car. Hi, I'm Sammy, that boosted chick. I'm 23 and I'm from Orfield, Pennsylvania. You're at my house and this is my car. This is what I'm famously known for basically on Instagram is my car. This is what started me out like how I am today. It's a 2008 Subaru WRX. I started about 4 years ago. This is when I first got the car. I was promotional modeling and working for a bunch of liquor brands and energy drinks and everything. People then told me that I should get involved with car modeling since I already had a car and I was going to car shows and everything. So this is basically what started me out. This is a green car. And I was like, fuck it. I said it, like, whatever. At the time, I didn't even think it was bad. It was a fucking green car. So what the fuck? I didn't know it was going to go viral or somebody was going to steal the video. When this video was taken, I had to upload it on a YouTube just for Bad Girls Club and just for them to see it. And we still don't know till this day if my laptop was hacked or if the YouTube was hacked, but I would still be confused on how they hacked a YouTube that nobody knew the username for. But somebody hacked it. We know who it is. I'm not going to say his name because he probably still stalks me to this day and would jerk off to just me mentioning his name. But he stole this video. It had millions of views within 24 hours. Millions. And this was in 2015. Like, viral on another level. Facebook everywhere. My whole town knew about it. It had so many fucking shares. It was insane. So with that going viral, it was bringing a lot of attention to me. It was very intense. I was not used to it. At first, it was cool. I was like, oh, wow, look. I was even on National Geographic. They posted a picture of a frog and said, this is a green frog, and then hashtag this is a green car. Dodge, like the car manufacturer, posted a green truck and said, this is a green truck. Like, it was viral. It was so wild. This was viral before, like, Cash Me Outside Girl. That was like a year after. So nobody really understood what viral was at the time, or like how to deal with social media. I certainly had no idea what I was doing at the time. So again, like I said, I don't know how the video got leaked, but it got leaked. So at first, while the episode was getting leaked, the TV show Bad Girls Club was pretty pissed, but then it just kept going and kept going, that they were actually happy that it got leaked, because then it was bringing attention to their show, and then having me on their show, it would bring so much attention to that episode. So they flew me out to LA overnight, and that was my first time in LA. It was a super cool experience. I was only there for 48 hours. They had to do like in-person interviews. I had to do a mental exam and psychology exam. I didn't know that they did all this. I'm so proud of them, and that I knew this background for TV shows and reality TV shows. I didn't know that they did all of this. But I had to do all of that. It was really cool. It was a little bit embarrassing, but it was really cool. At the end of that, I went home. So apparently I didn't pass the psych or mental eval because I was not picked. They said I was not ready. Even during the interview, the guy was asking some questions. It was like, I don't know if this would be good for you at this moment of what you're dealing with. And at the time, I was like, nah, I'm okay. And then I flew home, and then dealing with all of these memes getting made of me of saying, like, this is a green car. And they kind of made my video into, like, a little skit. And it made me say things that I really wasn't saying. So it was so wild. But people get confused on, like, why did that go so viral? Like, what happened, and why was it so bad? So it wasn't really that I said my car was green was the bad part. The bad part was I had this hating ass kid from my high school. I'm not going to say his name, but he had a crush on me and started badmouthing on me on social media, because if you don't know, anything will get out there. If you're going viral, anything bad will come out, anything. So just watch what you say when you go viral. Anything from your past will come out, and that's exactly what happened to me. This kid, he kept these tweets from 2012. So me and him had like a Twitter war. So we'd known each other since middle school, actually. And he was best friends with my boyfriend at the time. So it was like a whole weird circle of events. And I'm only going to tell you all of this just so everything makes sense and I can fully explain my whole story, because I never was able to. But he used to have a crush on me. He asked me on dates. I always said no. And then I ended up dating his best friend. So obviously he was a little butthurt. He was in the car scene as well. Asked me to model with his cars and everything. I thought we were friendly, whatnot. We had this Twitter war in 2012. He basically came at me on Twitter and was like calling me ugly and fat and all of this. And then I was calling him names back. And then he made a comment about my mom's fiance at the time, who just passed away in a motorcycle accident a month before they were supposed to get married. And he tweeted maybe if he took motorcycle lessons from me, he would still be alive today. So me just trying to defend myself, I said, like, fuck you. I called him names. I said, I hope you go die. And of course, I said, I hope you go die. And like a lot of people say that when they're in the moment and they're mad and they're heated, and they just say that. He suffers from cystic fibrosis. So then he used that to his advantage. And he used it as a crutch to try to make everybody feel bad for him. And who knew that he was going to save these tweets for 3 years? He was sitting on this because those tweets were from 2012. And when you take screenshots and stuff from Twitter, you don't really see like the communication between you two. You could just see that it was just from me, basically. So it looked like I was attacking this kid for no apparent reason. So that's the way he made it seem. And he made it seem that I was saying this in real time in 2015 while this was going on. So everyone was like, oh my God, this is a green car girl. makes fun of cystic fibrosis people. It was so intense for me. I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't know what to do. I have such empathy for people who suffer from these diseases such as cystic fibrosis. I know it's really hard to deal with. This had nothing to deal with cystic fibrosis or anybody dealing with any type of illness whatsoever. This was an asshole who did this to me and was not okay. So I just want to make sure that you guys all know that I have nothing against anybody with any disease or anything like that, because that's not okay. But it's not okay to use your disease or illness as a crutch to make people feel bad for you. It is not okay to do that, or it's not okay to bully people because you have something wrong with you. It's not okay. So this is basically the whole thing that I had to deal with. And please keep in mind, this was back in 2015 and the tweets were from 2012. So I was super young. This was before this whole social media, how it ruins the world. It rules the world and ruins the world. But I didn't mean it. I don't think you guys should bully people online. I don't do that really anymore. You shouldn't be calling people's names like this. I did use some harsh words. I take it all back. I said sorry 100 times. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you guys know I did not mean it like that. I was just defending myself just like anybody else would. But he had it out for me since day one, because that is so crazy to keep on to these tweets. So this is just beginning. So hold on, the story gets even crazier. So I was telling you the background of him and the Twitter war. All of a sudden then he shared, since we were so close, he shared my house address. He shared my cell phone numbers. He even found out where the ex-boyfriend that I lived with at the time, he found out where he worked. He shared it on Facebook, shared all the addresses, and it went viral again overnight. My phone had to get a new number. It was getting death threats every day, calls every day. My address people were showing up to my house every single day, yelling names out the car window. It was very intense. Even my mom at her job, she was getting calls. The ex-boyfriend, he called his job saying that he did a hit and run and hit a dog and said that he should get fired because he hit a dog. Thank God he wasn't at work that day, because there was no chance of him being at work or hitting a dog. Like, I'm telling you, this was like on some dark web type fucking shit, that all of these weird people were coming out of the shadows and attacking me. Anything. My address was shared. My phone number, I had to get a new number, like I said. So when I called the police, they did not do anything. They didn't understand what to do. They're like, what do you mean you're going viral on social media? Just ignore it. I'm like, dude, people are showing up to my house. And they're like, you'll be fine. We can issue a restraining order, and then we can give him like a little bit of a fine. I'm like, that's going to make it worse, because then he's going to bully me more, post about it online, like, aha, look at her. So I just never did that. And they said that was the most I could do. Until then, I had 3 break-ins in 1 month. So 2 of the times my front door was just wide open in the middle of the night. I got really cold and I kept my bedroom door open. My cat kept crying. And I was like, what is going on? So I go downstairs, and as soon as I run downstairs, I hear the top on the second floor, the window like close or something. So he must have jumped out of the second story. So I had somebody in my fucking house while I was sleeping. This happened 3 times. We have no idea who it was. We didn't have cameras at the time. Again, I was pretty broke at the time. I did not have any cameras. I didn't have anything. So after 3 break-ins, and the police were called all 3 times, I was on police watch for 30 days. It was really intense. I was crying every day. So I'm tearing up, but so I was crying every day, like I'm crying now. And so when the police would come check on me, I literally looked like I had like black eyes all the time. So they even thought like my boyfriend was beating me at the time. He's getting me tissues. This will be good clickbait. I'm going to keep these. This story is wild. It took me forever to even tell my therapist the full story, because anytime I'd get like close to ending it, like I would just lose it. Okay. So obviously I was not in a good place, and I was working at the time, so I was a bartender. So while that was going viral, they fired me because the kid posted like a Facebook group to go bash me and bash the restaurant that I was working for. And they went from a 5-star restaurant to a 1-star restaurant overnight. So I don't really blame them now. At the time, they had to do something, but they fired me, and then they lied to the state and said that it was because I wasn't doing a good job working. So I even had to go through the state and sue the restaurant. It was a really crazy thing because I was able to prove, obviously, I wasn't fired because I didn't do my job good. It was because they had these people from like Illinois, Kentucky, Michigan writing reviews that were completely false and making them go into a 1-star restaurant. They were saying that they were going to show up to the restaurant with their motorcycles and create havoc. So they were so scared in my restaurant. They were so scared. And I would too, especially at the time. Like, they had no idea how to deal with any of this. So I was put on unemployment, and then I had no money. I had to sell my car at the time and everything. But before I sold the car, I was sitting there all alone. So you just have to picture me. So it's not like nowadays I don't have this confidence and I don't have this nice house and I'm living good. Like, I lived in a house full with 4 other roommates. They all work 9 to 5. So I was stuck at home every day by myself, dealing with this all by myself, crying every day, not being able to work, not being able to make money. So the only thing that was on my mind was like suicide, obviously, because I didn't know what else to do. So people could only see like the comments that were getting made and all that, but you don't know the actions that were behind it. So all my car sponsorships, all the car shows, everybody dropped me and were bad mouthing me. They were even doing like posts on Facebook and on their pages on Instagram, like, we let go of Samantha, that boosted chick, because of her actions, da 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 da. It was like a huge thing. Cystic Fibrosis Foundation even reached out to me for a public apology for the cystic fibrosis people. Like, it was so insane. I was like, what is going on? Like, it was so wild. The girls that always looked up to me, that were always like Women Crush Wednesday, Samantha, and just, I helped mentor a lot of girls. They all flipped the switch so quick, and they were like, let me take her place. I have screenshots. I still have these screenshots saved. My mom has them all in a file on her computer. But these girls were bad-mouthing me, contacting all of the people I worked for and saying that they'll take my place, that they don't like what I did and that I was a bad person and blah, 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 blah. This one girl was just so bad, and I don't care. Faith, I hate that bitch. She is the worst person ever. She looked up to me all the time, and she always said that she looked up to me, she followed me, and she does the same poses as me because I just know what I'm doing and blah, 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 blah. She was so nice to me. And then this green car thing happened. She unfollowed me, and she messaged all of my sponsorships, all of the brands that I worked for, and said that she's never liked me, that she does not support me, and she'll take my place in any second. So the only person who did not leave me behind in the dust is Rap Specialties. I love them so much. They were in the same group chat with all my other sponsors and all of my other sponsorships. So they sent me the proof of like these people bashing me, and then this Faith girl messaging them all to try to take my spot. It was the weirdest fucking thing ever. I worked for all of the biggest car brands you can even imagine, all the famous companies, all the famous clothing companies that had to deal with cars. I worked for them all. Adams Polishes, I loved them at the time. They all dropped me and then went with this girl to be in my little shadow, I guess. She was the worst bully. She would make memes of me. This other kid, the cystic fibrosis kid, sorry, I don't want to say his name, so I don't know what to call him. Call him X. So X was worse at the time, but in the long run, it was this girl, because a woman is supposed to have another woman's back, and she did not. She was just going after me. She got this huge following out of the hate for me. Her whole following just went up because all the people who were hating me were following her, because she was just on this train of bashing me online and making memes of me and calling me fat. And people don't understand, like, I was going through so much. I gained so much weight. I was pretty fat at the time because I was so depressed. And then we have this girl that's supposed to be like a mentor and somebody that you're supposed to look up to, and she's there bashing me. And everyone was there like, yeah, girl, team you. Oh my God, take her down. Not knowing the things that I was dealing with behind the scenes. It was not fair whatsoever, and it was not cool. And I never even talked about this. I never wanted to say her name. I don't even know if she's a thing now to this day, but it just wasn't fair, and I just deserved to say my side of the story because I never did. She got me fired from a bunch of car shows. She made fake email addresses saying that I'm such a bully, that I shouldn't be hired. Even in the one car show, like I said, I got all facts. Tuned in Tokyo sent me the message, sent me the screenshot. She accidentally forgot to crop out the profile picture, and it was from her dog's profile on Instagram, of like a fake message to them saying like, oh, Boosted is such a bad person and she's making fun of me and stuff. She forgot to crop out the thing. So Tuned in Tokyo sent it to me, and they're like, listen, Faith's really scared to work with you. She's said 3 times now that it's either me or her. And now we got this fake email, and we know it's her because she didn't crop out the thing. So they actually paid me to stay home. I was supposed to go to LA for a car show. They paid me the same amount of me showing up to stay home and pretend that I couldn't make it. It was not cool. But of course, at the time I needed money, and I just agreed with it. And this happened at least 4 or 5 times for a bunch of different car shows. This girl did this. And I wish I knew at the time how to deal with this more. And I wish it happened more day and age. I would have sued them both of them. And they would have repercussions, because this is not okay. But I just dealt with it. I just sat there like a bitch and fucking dealt with it. And it's not fair. So before I get into, I guess I have to get right into it. I don't want to, but because I know I'm going to cry. So I did have a lot of people on my side, though. My family had my back. My brother had my back. My brother was always out there making comments back, like sticking up for me, explaining what could happen, because you guys don't understand. When you're going viral, you can't say your truth. You can't even comment back. If you say it wasn't me, or like I didn't mean it, they're like, shut up, like, and then just goes more viral of bad mouthing you. So you just honestly have to stay quiet. So my brother had my back. My parents had my back. My mom sold her Mustang. So then it was like an old Mustang. She got like $4,000 from it, gave it to me to basically live. And then, so the green car, I loved it. It was a Subaru WRX. It was so pretty, but I just didn't know what to do with it. That was my only car. I couldn't go anywhere. I'm telling you, it was so viral in my even town that I could not pull up anywhere. Imagine the green car pulling up at the gas station. Like, I could not. So I just had so much like hate towards the car itself then. That I wanted to get rid of it, and obviously get rid of myself, because I had like deep dark thoughts. So every day, like sitting at home by myself, I would just like, I had my cat, so that's like who got me through everything. But I would like hurt myself on purpose. And this is, I guess I should give a trigger warning to people who deal with depression and suicide. But I would hurt myself to see like how much pain I could go through, and if I could actually like hurt myself. But like I didn't have the guts to, and I don't even like to say like didn't have the guts to, because I had the guts to pull through and not do it. But while I was hurting myself, like nobody knew about this. My boyfriend that I was living with didn't know. They were all at work. Nobody knew. My parents didn't know. My parents still don't know like the full story. But what got me through it of everything with not hurting myself was my cat was right there and just like always staring at me, and I just loved my cat so much. And the only thing that saved me was like who would take care of my cat after I passed away, because it was just so weird. And you might laugh because it's a cat, but I was so sad about it. But I wanted to get rid of my car. So then my second thought was, I always saw in the movies the carbon monoxide poisoning. So we had the garage and the green car was in there. So I had it all set up. I had the hose and the exhaust. I had it all ready. So I literally was going to just go out with the carbon monoxide thing and say, fuck it. You know, they made fun of me with like the green car. Like I might as well use it. And I don't know what got me out of it. I was sitting in the car. I like wanted to do it, and I just thank God I didn't do it. But I don't even know like what exactly like popped in my head to like completely stop me from doing it. But something told me not to do it, and I didn't. My God, I need a drink of water. I knew I was gonna cry. So one thing that when I tell some people the story, nowadays, like my boyfriend now, basically they all kind of say I didn't really have like a really good support system then as well. So I do have to also, and I don't want to do this, but I do, but like I have to put a lot of the blame on the boyfriend that I did have at the time. He never stood up for me. He did not stick up for me whatsoever. He did nothing for me. He could see me crying every day, and he was just like, I know this is so horrible. They're coming for me too. You should see the comment, like, and making it about him the whole time. And it was like putting me more in a shell the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm the problem. I'm making everybody else's life like so much harder. Like, cause he wasn't ever supporting me. He was always like, yeah, me too, like look at me, like they're calling my job too, like, but never really supporting me. So like when you're going through this, like I really hope that you have a strong support system, because that's what pushes you through. And thank God for my family, because I definitely had no other support other than my family. Even my real friends, they were my real friends in real life. The people I went to school with knew this person, person X. So they knew that this person was a bad person and didn't believe anything they said, and they knew the full story. But then you have the internet trolls that they have no idea this person. So they're like, oh my God, this person is suffering from a disease. Like we have to feel bad for him and screw this girl. But so I had some people, but then in the car world and the social media life, I was losing friends left and right. Photographers were messaging me that I used to work with, saying, I can't support you anymore. I can't be friends with you anymore if you're going to act like that. I had people behind my back saying like, oh, I can't be friends with her. And then the other person would tell me, like, it was some crazy drama that you guys have no idea that I had to deal with. It was so intense. Losing friends left and right. It was just not a cool thing. So then I tried to, sorry, I have so much, I'm trying to go in order of the story. I don't want to mix everything up. So I eventually sold the green car. I think I sold it for $10,000. I wish I never did. I love that fucking car. I would buy it back in a second. But it was like a really cute couple. They had my back. They were, one was a cop and the wife was a nurse, I believe. And they showed up and they're like, we heard about your story and we're so sorry. She's like, we love your car. We think it's beautiful. They're like, we're going to keep it the same. Like, if you want to see like what we do with it, we'll let you know. But they were really cool. They updated me like all the time. Like if they like modified the car and whatnot, like they were so cool. So I'm glad I went to like cool people. I just wish I kept the fucking car, dude. People in the car world will understand that you get heartbroken after like selling your like first car, especially that car that put me through everything. Back then I had no mentor or even a lawyer to help me handle with anything. So just keep in mind, I did this all alone, literally all alone. Lawyers had no idea how to handle it. My mom reached out to plenty of lawyers in the Philly area, Bethlehem, everywhere. No lawyer would take this. They were just like, it's a bullying act, and all you could really do is get a restraining order against him. And there's no bullying laws for anybody who is over the age of 18. So, I mean, I don't know how true that was, or if these lawyers just did not want to deal with anything with social media because they're like, it's social media, it's free for the public, and you could do whatever. So nobody really understood what to do. Then I was even, after like 2 or 3 months, I tried to even get another job. I was trying to work at a car dealership, and I think I lasted like 6 days before they kept getting calls from anonymous people, which I know it was the person X or him sending people saying that I shouldn't be working with people because I shouldn't be in front of people because of the person I am, that I bash people and I'm a bully, and obviously this green car stuff. So they would send them that, and then they pulled me into the office. They're like, we need to get rid of you because this is not what we stand for. We are a family-owned business and we don't support those actions. I recorded the whole conversation because I remember I was getting pulled up. I got a call, said you have to come to the office for a meeting. So I was like, okay. I texted my mom. I said, Mom, I think I'm getting fired. I think it's happening. I think that they called. So she's like, you better record. So I recorded the whole conversation. Like a week later, when I filed for unemployment again, they said no, because then the car dealership again said I just wasn't a good worker. I wasn't a good fit. And I said, I'm sorry, but I recorded the whole conversation, so I really don't care. It was not because of this. It was because of the social media stuff. Unemployment, again, I had to deal with the same representative, and she was like, I am so confused with what is going on with you. Like, why can't you keep jobs? I was like, dude, I don't know either. Like, this kid just keeps bashing me. So unemployment, it was a hard bitch to even try to get paid, and it wasn't not even a lot of money. I think it was like $400 every 2 weeks, but it was getting me by, and it was help paying for my rent. So I did that. I think I was on unemployment for like a year, maybe a year and a half. I even tried to get a third job. He did the same fucking thing. Called and called and called, got me fired. I never lasted more than a week. It was so intense for me. It was so crazy. What a lot of people ask me how I get out, what I got out of this. I hope I'm not skipping anything. But a lot of people ask me, how did I finally get out of it? Like, what woke me up and what happened? So I was on unemployment for so long. I had no car. I wasn't doing anything. So I finally got a job at Aldi. It's an Aldi warehouse. So around here, it's 90% female. So they hire a 90% female. They like to keep it that. I think the whole Aldi Foundation, they all do that. So they hired me, and I was blunt with them up in the front because I was not dealing with trying to get trained and get fired 6 days later. So I told them everything up front of what was happening with me, and they said, no worries, you're going to be in back of house because I'm going to be in the warehouse. You don't have to deal with people, so you're good to go. I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I was hustling. Like, who knew? Like, do you understand? I went from traveling the country for car shows and modeling, signing autographs, being up there in the industry, and then I had to quit it all, and I'm working at a warehouse. It was so depressing, but it was the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I don't think that the girls from Aldi understand what they did, because the girls from Aldi, they were like really tough girls. So a lot of them like had felonies, or they were like in halfway houses. A lot of them were just tough bitches. Like, it's a warehouse. Like, it was some big tough bitches. And I was scared going into there. I was like, oh my God, these girls are going to know what I did. And like, even I didn't even do anything. And it's like, I was so scared. Like, it was so crazy. So I kept to myself. I like was in the shadows working. I'd sit at lunch by myself. Eventually obviously I heard whispers around the warehouse. Like, you could hear that Boosa chick or green car, like, pointing at me, like, that's her, like, you know. So I'm like, oh, great, like, they all know. But these group of girls came up to me and they were like, girl, we know what happened. One of the girls actually went to high school with me. So then she understood the whole story, knew this kid X, and was like, this is so crazy that people are sticking up for this troll. This kid has a background of not only like stealing or anything, like he was arrested for multiple things back in high school. This kid was not a good person. He got away with everything. So this girl was like, I told everybody that he's a bad person and we all got your back. If anything happens, we got you. They pushed me. They took me out. The first time ever getting out of the house, they got me to a bar. First time out, also, I was actually hit by a guy. He said something to me about green car and he actually tried to punch me. Slapped him back. I got kicked out of the bar. Great. That's what happens there. But these Aldi girls, they just have no idea what they did for me. The managers there, everybody was really nice to me. I probably should have been fired a few times. I was not very good at the job, but I tried and they understood everything that I was dealing with. I had to keep it under wraps. I did not post or say anything where I worked. Like, nobody knew where I worked. I worked there for a full year. Nobody knew. The only people who knew that I worked there was the Aldi girls and my boyfriend and my parents, and that was it. Anybody who would ask, I would say I'm not working because I just did not want anything to happen to me. So I just hustled for a year. I think I was making $19 an hour at the time. That was like 2016, I guess. And it was pretty good money. So I didn't have anything to do. So I saved up all that money. I bought an FRS, and that was my second car. And I was like, you know what? I want to start back up with my modeling, and I know it's going to be hard. So I started selling merch again, and I was selling like t-shirts and air fresheners, and all that. I was the first automotive model to even do that. I would call them ass fresheners. And then every model after that was doing that. But I would sell out like automatically, like all my shit within 1 week. So either if you hated me and liked me, people were buying it. Even like the haters were buying it because I could see them. They would tag me and literally like, oh, I got this ass freshener. Like, you just supported me. It was the weirdest thing. But yeah, I brought back my Instagram. I brought back everything because it was deactivated for a while. I bought the FRS and then I built it up. I wrapped it green, of course. I got it sponsored. So the wrap company actually sponsored me and everything because they were like, wow, good for you that you're going out there with a bang. Again, I give big props to Wrap Specialties, located in New Jersey. They always showed so much love to me, always had my back. We always joked about the green car thing. I think it gave them a lot of business as well because honestly, the wrap is the best. They wrap a lot of SEMA cars. They do the best work. But I'm telling you, they had my back all the time. Even comments, public comments, they would always have my back. So I love them for that. And they did get a lot of hate for it sometimes, but they never changed and they never switched up. And that was one and only. Even companies, like, they would try to have my back. They would secretly like text me and be like, oh girl, I'm so sorry for you, da 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 da. But then online, they never said anything for me. They never did. Nowadays, you fast forward to now they're like, wow, look at you. You came up and I'm so proud. It's like, I always remember somebody who, like me, who dealt with this. I remember who had my back. I remember who said bad comments. I remember everything. And there's a lot of you out there that I still remember, and I play now. I'm like, haha, thanks. You know, I'm not going to say anything back, but I know you did not have my back then. I know you were bullying me. So that's why I have like this huge hate and animosity towards the car scene and a lot of these car shows, because now they try to uplift me and say congratulations for how far I made it, but they did not have my back whatsoever. And it was not cool what I had to deal with, especially being a woman. Like, people were just bashing me out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, the men were the worst. The men are the absolute worst with bullying women. So I just hope nobody has to deal with everything that I had to deal with this. I hope it never happens again. But with this day and age, who knows? So I have a note here, and my producer wrote this note, and it says, how did you feel to finally get some sense of normalcy back into your life? I'll never forget the first day I went out, and I was to the Chicken Lounge. So if you are local, it's like some little hole in the wall, like spot for the locals, and it's called the Chicken Lounge. It's like super low key. I said it's dark lighting and no one will know me. And a couple people from New Jersey and New York came out to support me, and they're like, Sammy's getting out. Like, it was like a holiday. Like, oh my God, Sammy is going out. We're going to the Chicken Lounge. It was like a party of 10. Right away, I sit down. I'm like happy that it's dark. The waiter comes up and they're like, holy shit, you're the green car girl. Right away. All my friends were like, shut the fuck. Like, they're like, shut the fuck up. We'll get you fired. I'm like, let me see a manager. And I'm like, guys, that's fine. It's fine. And the kid was like, no, like, oh my God, like, I didn't mean it in any way. And he was so scared. I was like, as long as you're not like a hater and you're going to like bash me or something. He's like, no, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. Like, there's a lot of people who actually have your back. Like, I swear, like, a lot of us have your back. The whole Chicken Lounge has your back. I was like, what? So it was I'll never forget that. It's crazy. Like, I'll never forget that day, because it was weird to know that like people had my back without like them publicly saying it. And it was, I don't know, it was just really cool. And I'll never fucking forget that day. And for the friends that came out, and you guys know who you are, the people who were in the car scene from New Jersey and New York who came out to support me. We literally had a party. It was like some weird shit, but you guys were the best. So after I bought that for us, like I said, I wrapped it green. I went to my first car show as a fuck you. I think I was working for a company, 914. I think they hired me because they were the only ones who have the balls to actually do it. It was wild. It went viral. Again, the green car. They're like, oh my God, she did it again. Da 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 da. Again, I was getting hate again. So it all brought it back up again. So you have to be a strong bitch to deal with this, because I basically had to deal with it twice, because then I wrapped it green again. So then the whole memes and everything were going viral again. It just never was a never-ending fucking thing. I don't take it back whatsoever what I did. I think that it was a good learning experience. But yeah, a lot of the car scene still would not hire me. They would never took me back. There was rumors that I was on a blacklist, like blacklisted from the whole scene. I have no idea how true it was. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure it was true, because nobody would hire me anymore. It was mainly because of that girl and man X, I'd like to call him. I thought about quitting forever. I did not want to do anything with the cars whatsoever, but I had such a passion. I loved it so much that I just like could not let them win and take away my passion as well. So I did not let them do that. I get asked a lot of times why I didn't speak up more, or why I didn't say my side of the story. Like I said, it's really hard to talk about it when it's going viral. So it took me a while. Like, now it's 2023 and I'm finally speaking about it. I know I tried to say my full story maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I just didn't have the voice at the time. I didn't know how to say it. And it's really hard to talk about. It was a very devastating thing in my life. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to deal with it. I basically just wanted to say that I'm sharing with you my story, just so you guys know that I have my voice back. I wanted to show you guys that I have my voice back. And I want to show you that it's not easy to deal with bullying and online bullying. And it is okay to cry, and it's okay to be depressed, and it's okay to have feelings. It happens to the best of us. I wanted to show you that I have bad days too. I had a whole bad year or two. And a lot of you guys are new followers or new listeners or new fans or whatever. And you guys don't know what I had to deal with. Some of you guys have been here since 2012 and you guys know, but you never knew the full story. So I just want to let you guys know that it is okay to talk. It's okay to have your voice heard. I wish I had the voice at the time that I had today, because I don't think it would have happened today. My boyfriend nowadays, he's like, I wish I was your boyfriend. I wish I was there for you then, because it wouldn't have went that way. A lot of people say that it just would not have went that way if it was today, or if you had the right support. And I know it wouldn't have. But I know everything happens for a reason. And I hope that everybody sees the light at the end of the tunnel, because if I could go through this and make it out alive and be way more successful than I ever thought, then you can too. Don't let anybody stop you. I wanted to say a little story too, that I did in 2020. So it was like the beginning of the pandemic, and I went to a psychic in LA. So I don't know if you believe in psychics or anything, and I was a little skeptical at first, but hey, I did it. And it was just out of the loom. So we were at a restaurant and across from it was like psychic. And I was like, yo, we should go. Like we were just like drunk. We're like, let's do it. So we did it. So I just want to say that because the psychic had no idea who I was. This lady has no idea who I was. She couldn't look me up. I didn't make an appointment or anything like that. I walked in, I'm like, I want a reading. So I walked in and she was like, whoa, you have like this crazy aura around you. And I was like, okay, whatever. I know. But she was like, something crazy and devastating happened to you. I can't really put my finger on it. It has something to do with like media and photos. Like she was an older woman. A lot of people don't understand social media. So I was like, okay, you're kind of getting there. And she was like, something happened to you where a red curtain closed on you as soon as it was opening. She's like, I don't know what that means, but maybe something with like production or a show or like something. And I was like, yo, like the Bad Girls Club and the whole like thing closing down on me and just like the whole thing that happened to me. She said that you were about to be very famous and successful with whatever you were doing, but something happened that closed that curtain right away and something devastating happened to you that changed your life. She said, this rarely ever happens to people. For some reason, this red curtain will show up once again and will work out in your favor. It was the craziest thing ever that she said that. And I believe that she was 100% right. I was one of the most successful car models and had the biggest name in the industry. I 100% did. But most will deny to this day that I was a nobody or wasn't that somebody or wasn't the most popular. Everyone will try to deny it nowadays, but I was the top model. I was the top brand model in the car scene at the time before everything happened. And I do believe that I would have gone so far in the car industry. I had dreams of having like my own exhaust. I wanted to manufacture my own exhaust. I wanted to have my own car parts named like Boosted. And so I loved the name of it and everything. And I believe I would have gone so far. But again, my curtain was closed because of everything that happened to me. But I believe everything happens for a reason because I'm doing so much better. The car scene is not what it's supposed to be today. COVID kind of ruined it. Car brands, car shows, car anything is not making the money what it used to. And now look at me, I'm about to open a restaurant. I am doing very well for myself. I have my own house. I'm driving a Porsche 911, which most of the haters I were talking shit on could not afford. So there you go with that. But I just wanted to say that little psychic thing because it was the craziest thing. She said even more, but isn't that wild? Like who would know that? And that's just so insane to me. And she kept saying like green. She's like, I keep seeing the color green. It was so weird. I'm telling you, if you didn't believe, this story is wild. I don't know. I feel so much better that I got all the sad parts out. Oh my God. But yeah, I think that's maybe the end of the story. I'm sweating right now. My armpits are drenched right now from how I'm feeling right now. And I feel so relieved. And I feel like I want to have a party and go out dancing for telling you guys everything that I dealt with. I've been holding this in. I've been wanting to tell my side of the story forever. And I feel like a whole weight is lifted off of me now, saying my side. I feel like I want to cry of happiness. I don't know what to do right now. But I do want to say thank you for everyone who always stuck by my side, especially like the day ones that saw me go through it all, especially my like real friends that went to high school with me, knew the person who did it to me, the car companies who hired me after the fact. Love you guys. I'm so glad that you guys didn't listen to the bullies. I'm so glad you guys stuck around, and thank you for the new ones who are listening and know my full story now. And that is why I keep the name That Boosted Chick. I always keep getting asked, why don't I change my Instagram name? Like, why don't you put Samantha Gangware? Or like, why don't you do a cool name? What the hell is That Boosted Chick? Now you know it means so much to me. Because now, like, these people who used to bash me will always see that name. That name will always be there. I never will change it. And it means so much to me. I will never. That is my fucking brand. That is my name. And that is me right there. So I love you guys. I'm so happy I got to share this story with you guys. And please keep in mind, don't let bullies get to you. Please do your thing. Always do you. And yeah, stand up for yourself. Use your voice. And use that voice below and like and comment. Subscribe and please share. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.